There are creatures that, upon sight, immediately awaken a primal, instinctual fear in us, one that's been ingrained since time immemorial. It feels like something inside you clenches. Your breath catches, and your only desire is to run as far away as possible. These beings have survived ice ages and natural disasters, and to this day, they remain some of the most perfect predators on the planet. Snakes. But what if I told you that these very creatures, the ones that make your palms break out in a cold sweat, are currently saving thousands of lives? Their images adorn medical symbols. Their venom is turned into medicine. They are revered in temples, bred in nurseries, and served as delicacies. What's more, there are people who willingly lie on the floor and let dozens of snakes slowly crawl over their bodies, believing it's an excellent way to relieve stress. The fear of snakes seems natural and logical. After all, their bite can have serious consequences. But the deeper you look, the clearer it becomes that this fear is driven less by actual danger and more by our own imagination and assumptions. In reality, many people have never held a venomous snake or even encountered one in its natural habitat. Nevertheless, just seeing that familiar shape on a screen or hearing a faint rustle in tall grass is enough to make the body react faster than the brain. This feeling is familiar, even to those who live in regions where dangerous snakes are practically non-existent. Scientists have long noticed that the human brain is unusually quick to recognize the silhouette of a snake. For millions of years, our distant ancestors lived side by side with these predators, and the ability to spot danger before others helped them survive. This memory hasn't gone anywhere. It's simply been passed down to us. At the same time, snakes don't hunt humans. To them, we are creatures that are too big, too loud, and too unpredictable. Most bites happen when a person accidentally steps on a snake or tries to catch it. In essence, many encounters only end in an attack because both sides are scared of each other. While I was gathering material, I noticed something interesting. Almost everything I knew about snakes came from movies, scary stories, and random videos from the internet. The moment you start looking at the data and real observations, your perception changes dramatically. There are several thousand species of snakes on the planet, and only a relatively small number of them pose a real threat to people. The rest hunt fish, frogs, rodents, and birds, playing a role that humans often just don't notice. Without snakes, the populations of many pests would rapidly increase. However, running into a snake isn't so simple. Most of them prefer to stay hidden. They are very sensitive to ground vibrations and try to get away before a person even spots them. That's why in the woods or on the plains, we often pass just a few feet away from snakes and remain completely unaware of their presence. There's another detail that really struck me. Snakes don't waste their energy. They can lie motionless for hours, just like rocks, and then in a split second burst into lightning-fast movement. It's this very ability that has given rise to so many myths and mysteries about them. Snakes lack legs, claws, and have almost no other means of defense besides speed, camouflage, and venom. it would seem that nature severely limited their capabilities. However, this unusual design turned out to be so effective that snakes survived the dinosaurs and are thriving today on almost every continent. Encountering a snake by chance is one thing, but it's another thing entirely to live in places where they were an integral part of life, long before cities and roads ever appeared. When you study areas like that, you quickly realize just how much more startling nature can be than any horror movie. There are places where people are so used to living alongside snakes that they treat them almost as casually as we treat pigeons or squirrels. However, there are also spots where the very idea of leaving the house without high boots seems like a bad idea. And we're not talking about legends, but real places on the map. One of these places is located off the coast of Brazil. The small island of Queimada Grande looks like something out of a postcard. Green slopes, cliffs, the ocean. But you can only get there with special permission. This is because it's home to golden lancehead vipers, which are found nowhere else. Imagine this. On a piece of land less than half a square kilometer, there are thousands of snakes. In some areas, scientists have found literally one snake for every single square meter. You have to walk through the thickets very carefully, constantly checking the ground and the branches. A long time ago, the sea level rose, and a piece of land broke off from the mainland. The snakes were left on the island without any large animals. But it turned out there were plenty of migratory birds around, which they learned to hunt successfully. Since birds don't run around on the ground like rodents or frogs, the snakes gradually changed their habits. Many of them stopped waiting for prey from below and moved up into the bushes and low trees. There, the snakes sit motionless for hours, looking just like dry branches, waiting for a bird to land for a rest, or fly by close enough. Sometimes scientists would witness a strange sight. Several golden lancehead vipers could be found on a single branch. Each one held its position, waiting patiently. From a distance, it looked as if the tree itself was overgrown with snakes. The scariest part is that they are almost impossible to see. Their yellowish-brown color serves as excellent camouflage among the leaves and bark. You could be staring right at a bush for a long time, thinking it is empty, while several predatory snakes are sitting calmly just a few inches away. A bird lands on a branch for just a few seconds, and that is more than enough time. A quick, sharp strike, a bite, and the victim is doomed. The venom works so fast that the prey has almost no chance to fly far away. It was the living conditions on this remote island that made the snakes such formidable hunters. Nevertheless, even this island does not seem as terrifying as a place where snakes do not hide one by one in trees and grass, but appear by the thousands. And this does not happen in the hot tropics or among jungles, but much farther north, in Canada. Every spring near the small town of Narcisse, a spectacle unfolds that looks like something out of a computer animation. Tens of thousands of garter snakes emerge from underground limestone caves all at once. The ground itself seems to start writhing and moving on its own. For the first few seconds, it looks pretty creepy. Everywhere you look, there are writhing bodies, the rustle of grass, and constant movement. However, there is no hunting going on in this phenomenon. It is just the start of the snake mating season after a long winter. The males gather around the females and form huge, dense balls. Sometimes, in the middle of a ball like this, there is one female with dozens of males intertwined around her. To an outside observer, it looks like one big living organism. When I first saw a video from Narcisse, it seemed to me that the number of snakes was clearly exaggerated. But this phenomenon has been studied for many decades, and thousands of tourists come here specifically to see it with their own eyes. The most surprising thing is that garter snakes are practically harmless to humans. People calmly walk up to them, take pictures, and even pick them up. At that moment, you understand especially clearly how often our fear paints pictures that are much scarier than reality itself. In many corners of the earth, you can find places where a phenomenal number of snakes gather. For example, in India, after the rainy season, cobras sometimes end up right next to people's homes. And in Australia, farmers have long been used to watching their step and checking their sheds before starting work. However, these are far from the most surprising cases. In some countries, people do not just tolerate snakes being around. They are specifically bred on a massive scale. We are talking about actual farms, where snakes are considered livestock, on par with cows, sheep, or chickens. These kinds of operations are especially common in the countries of Southeast Asia. At first glance at videos from these places, you get the impression that someone has gathered all of humanity's fears into one space. Hundreds of snakes lie in long, concrete enclosures. In some areas, there are so many of them that the ground itself seems to be moving. And the most surprising part is that for the local workers, a workday like this is just business as usual. The reasons for these farms vary widely. In some places, snakes are raised for their skin, in others, for their venom. At the same time, there are operations where the priority is meat. For the residents of several Asian countries, snake dishes are perfectly normal and are not considered anything exotic. In their cuisine, it is just as common a product as fish, poultry, or other meat. Over many decades, a whole industry has formed around this business. Specialized farms, feed suppliers, markets, and processing plants have all emerged. Some farms house thousands of snakes at a time. And although the idea of an enterprise like this sounds terrifying to most people, for the owners, it is just a regular agricultural business. Nevertheless, an even more curious fact is something else. In a number of regions, snakes achieved such a high status that instead of being raised for food, they began to be revered. Moreover, these traditions originated long before the emergence of modern science and have survived to this day. In many ancient cultures, the snake gradually became a symbol of something mysterious and powerful. People watched it appear silently, as if out of nowhere. They saw it shed its old skin and seemingly get a new life. To the ancients, these phenomena seemed supernatural. It's no wonder that legends, myths, and religious beliefs began to form around snakes. These traditions took on a special meaning in India. There, the cult of the snake has existed for many centuries. In countless legends, cobras play the role of guardians of treasures, protectors of holy places, and companions to the gods. For millions of people, the snake is not a symbol of threat, but holds an important place in their spiritual world. As a result, special sanctuaries dedicated to snakes even appeared in the country. While most people try to steer clear of snakes, here they come intentionally. Visitors bring offerings, pray, and ask for blessings from creatures that in many other countries are considered some of the most fearsome animals on the planet. Some of these temples look more like small forests than traditional buildings. Hundreds of images of cobras are placed among the trees. In some cases, snakes live right on the complex grounds. They are not driven away or destroyed. On the contrary, it is believed that the presence of these animals gives the place a special sacredness. Just imagine how differently people can feel about the very same creature. In some corners of the world, a person puts up a high fence around their house to protect themselves from snakes. In other places, they are raised for their meat. And in some, people come to snakes with prayers, seeing them as a symbol of good fortune. And the more examples like this you see, the clearer it becomes that snakes stopped being just animals a long time ago. They have woven their way into the culture, religious traditions, mythology, and daily lives of countless peoples. But this still leaves a question that has troubled humanity since ancient times. What exactly makes some snakes so dangerous to people? Venom, a deadly natural weapon that has reached near perfection. In reality, most snakes are completely harmless to humans. Out of the several thousand known species, only a relatively small number possess venom capable of causing serious harm to a person. What's more, even among venomous snakes, many try to avoid contact with people and use their venom mainly for hunting and defense. But when it comes to the truly dangerous species, nature shows off its amazing efficiency. Over millions of years of evolution, snakes have turned ordinary saliva into a complex biological cocktail. Some venoms attack the nervous system. Others destroy the body's tissues. Still others disrupt blood clotting. None of this was created to fight humans, but to quickly immobilize prey. The most surprising thing is that snake venom isn't made of just one substance. It's a complex of different components, each with its own function. Scientists are still studying many of these compounds to this day. In some cases, a single species of snake can produce dozens of different toxins at the same time. For small animals, a bite like that often means instant death. The prey can lose its ability to move in just a few seconds or minutes after the venom enters its body. After that, all the snake has to do is find its victim by scent and swallow it whole. That's why for many species, venom has become an exceptionally effective survival tool. If venom is used mainly for hunting, a natural question arises. Which snake has the most potent venom on Earth? And does the strongest venom always mean the most dangerous snake for humans? As research shows, the answers to these questions are not as straightforward as they might seem at first glance. When talking about the most venomous snakes, many people picture giant cobras or huge pythons. However, the reality is much more interesting. One of the snakes with exceptionally potent venom is considered to be the inland taipan, which lives in Australia. This snake is so secretive that many Australians living on the same continent have never seen one in person. The tapeworm's venom is highly effective and can kill its prey instantly. A single bite is usually enough to take down small mammals. And this venom evolved not to fight large animals, but exclusively for hunting relatively small rodents. Sometimes nature creates truly powerful tools to solve relatively simple problems. But it's important to remember that the most potent venom and the most dangerous snake are not always the same thing. The inland taipan rarely encounters people and usually avoids contact. Therefore, bite incidents are actually quite infrequent. At the same time, species with weaker venom can pose a much greater threat, but they regularly live near human settlements and fields. That's why the list of the most dangerous snakes for humans looks different than one might expect. In Asia, a large number of deaths are linked to cobra bites. In Africa, snakes of the mamba genus pose a serious danger. And in India, one of the main causes of fatalities remains the saw-scaled viper. These species don't have the most potent venom on the planet, but because of their proximity to people, they become far more dangerous each year than the famous taipan. However, the vast majority of bites are not fatal. What's more, thanks to modern medical technology and prompt care, many victims make a full recovery. And this reveals a curious paradox. The very creatures that cause the bite are the ones that save lives. Just 100 years ago, encounters with venomous snakes often ended tragically. People didn't understand how venom worked, and doctors were practically helpless. But over time, the situation began to improve. Specialized institutes and research centers were established in various countries, devoted entirely to studying snakes. Scientists spend countless hours observing their behavior, collecting venom samples, and performing molecular analysis on the complex chemical makeup of these toxins. This process looks pretty strange. Specialists carefully restrain the snakes, collecting a few drops of venom into special containers. To an outside observer, it all looks like a scene from a movie. Yet this is exactly how the production begins for medicines that later saved thousands of people. Because of this, antivenoms were developed that now help people survive bites from even the most dangerous snakes. And the very principle seems almost paradoxical. To combat the venom, scientists use the venom itself as the main component. Over time, researchers discovered another important fact. Some components of venom can have a positive effect on the human body. It turned out that certain substances from venom are used to create medicines for cardiovascular diseases, affect blood clotting, and are involved in the development of new drugs. In this way, this deadly weapon transforms into a means that helps prolong life. But that's not all. It turns out there are people who willingly seek out contact with snakes. In some Asian countries, unique procedures exist, known as snake therapy. A person lies down on the floor or a special table, and several large, non-venomous snakes are released onto them. To an onlooker, such a scene looks pretty scary. Slowly slithering over their arms, shoulders, and chest, the massive pythons create a feeling of gentle pressure. Some clients compare it to a massage and mention that they feel deeply relaxed after the session. The scientific evidence for the benefits of such procedures is still up for debate. But the very fact that practices like this exist seems incredible. A creature that once struck fear into our ancestors, making them jump at every rustle in the grass, is now used for stress relief. There's a growing realization that the connection between humans and snakes has never been just about fear. Over thousands of years, people have learned to coexist with these reptiles. Some extract medicinal compounds from their venom, others raise snakes on farms, and in some places, snakes have become a significant part of culture and religious beliefs. This is probably the very reason why snakes have walked alongside humans throughout all of history. They appeared with our ancestors long before the first cities and civilizations, and continue to be right there with us to this day. A snake has never seen a human as an enemy or prey. It acts according to rules it has followed for millions of years. It hunts, it hides, it waits out the heat, it sheds its skin, and it does everything it can to avoid a confrontation with a creature that is so much bigger than it is. And perhaps that's the most important thing of all. Most of our attitude towards snakes wasn't formed from personal experience, but from stories, movies, myths, and that ancient instinct passed down to us from our ancestors. Of course, it never hurts to be cautious. There really are dangerous types of snakes out there whose bite can cause serious harm. But fear and respect, those are two completely different things. The more you learn about these animals, the harder it is to see them as soulless killers. Maybe after watching this video, the way you look at snakes will change. You'll see them not just as a source of danger, but as some of the most ancient and amazing creatures that have survived ice ages, the era of dinosaurs, the appearance of man, and still live alongside us today, remaining the same perfect creation of nature they were millions of years ago.